Welcome to another episode of Beauty Times Medicine, Galderma's podcast and video series that brings together leading minds in beauty and skin science. Today, I'm truly honored to welcome a very special guest, Nicolas Hieronimus, Chief Executive Officer of L'Oréal. Nicolas has an impressive international career spanning nearly 4 decades at L'Oréal. He was appointed CEO in May of 2021, becoming only the 6th CEO in L'Oréal's more than 100-plus year history. He also serves as chairman of the L'Oréal Fund for Women and as a director of the L'Oréal Corporate Foundation. Welcome to Beauty Times Medicine. It's a phenomenal honor for me to have you here.
Hello, Flemming. It's a great pleasure for me to be here.
Thank you so much. For people that may not know it, I think we have a common history that goes back to 1981 because L'Oréal was basically a founding partner in Galderma in 81 together with Nestlé. And now, of course, with the additional investment, we will be working much closer together. But you yourself, you joined L'Oréal in 87, and I look at all the roles you've had, brand, country management, product divisions, very, very impressive, multiple countries. Was there a moment where you said, I'm set up for success here, or how did that all come about?
Well, you know, it's true that I've been 39 years at L'Oréal. It's been my only company, so it's the company of a lifetime. And to be honest, I never thought I would become the CEO of this company. But I have had such an exciting career. The great thing about L'Oréal is that you can stay 39 years in the company and never get bored because it's always different, and beauty is always different. So I didn't think this would happen. At least it wasn't planned. But I grew in the company, and the company grew me.
But if you think back about the last 5 years, or anything you say, wow, this was really a defining moment for me, or this is where I took L'Oréal from X to Z, or how do you look at that?
I think the last 5 years have been pretty hectic. We've been going from crisis to crisis, from COVID to inflation to wars to tariffs, and the world's never been so unstable. So one of my biggest prides is to have been able to keep L'Oréal on course, show resilient growth in top line, strengthening and reinforcing our leadership through growth that is faster than the beauty market, improving the profitability. So, because L'Oréal is a story about continuity and about always delivering, both in terms of results, but also in terms of values and non-financial performance. But then I would say the other part, which I'm really proud of, is that my job as a CEO is to prepare the company for the future, is to invest in the future growth of L'Oréal. And here we've made a number of acquisitions. Recently, a few brands, from a Korean brand to this year, Color Wow, Medik8, which are hair care and skincare brand. Of course, the major deal with Kering Beauty, which has been the biggest acquisition of the group's history. So we are or will be in charge of all the beauty licenses of the Kering couture brands and the owner of Creed. And of course, more recently, this participation in Galderma, I think is also a way for us to be a part of your adventure, which is an adventure in a very important adjacent territory in beauty. So this preparation of L'Oréal for the future growth is a great source of pride.
I remember, because my background is medical, when I had the opportunity to lead Galderma, I was used to long planning cycles, mostly, launching prescription products. It takes decades. You have to prepare. And then when I was hit with the whirlwind of consumer, trends, it changes very fast. It seems there's a lot of change going on in the consumer space and its skincare.
Yeah, first of all, overall consumer space is very, very fast and very dynamic. And that's, of course, augmented by social networks. When a trend pops up somewhere in the world, it's immediately spread around the planet by social networks and amplified. And that's true for makeup, for skincare, for all categories. Now, what is true in skincare is that probably the number one buzzword on the platforms is longevity. And it's very clear today that a lot of people's focus is that knowing they will live longer, potentially, and hopefully longer than before, they know that they have to invest in their health and in their skin. You know, that's the only thing you can change. You can improve it, but you can't change it. So people are moving from this idea of correcting aging to reprogramming aging, and they're enriching their strategies to protect themselves from the external factors or from just the biological aging, mixing, of course, beauty products, UV filters to protect themselves from the sun, beauty supplements, foods, sports and diets. They're all using wearables such as mine to monitor their health. Not everybody, but a lot of people. And of course, aesthetic procedures are part of these protocols that people use to manage the way they're going to be and feel in their skin over years. And that's a very, very deep trend across the world.
I know you're also someone who travels a lot, and there's two markets that I'm particularly interested in, the US and China, with consumer mixed messages coming out all the time, some negative, some not so negative. How do you see those two gigantic markets where you have enormous presence?
Well, first of all, the good news is that in both markets, consumption of beauty has been improving. It's been true in China over the later part of the year, Q4. You see the consumer confidence index picking up a little bit. Consumers are more savvy, more pragmatic, and so they want good value and want good quality. And we see it in the progress of our best and most sophisticated brands. A brand like SkinCeuticals is doing phenomenal in China. So I'm reasonably optimistic about China. It's still a local economy that's not as dynamic as it was pre-COVID, but I think it picking up a bit. And it's the same with different factors in the US, where we've seen consumption doing good and being resilient and accelerating progressively over the year in 2025. What's great is that whether in China, in the US, and even more so when there is uncertainty, beauty is a refuge category. You've heard potentially about the lipstick effect,
yes,
which makes people and women spend more on beauty when times are a bit more uncertain. And I was looking at the data in the US, and beauty is the fourth most important category in spending after mortgage, food, and gas for the cars. But ahead of everything else, people want to spend more in beauty. So, of course, it's our role to stimulate this market, because you must never forget that beauty is an offer market. People don't tell you what they need. You have to tempt them. And that's why innovation is absolutely key. And for us, increasing
you mentioned that consumers are more and more looking also in the dermatology space for science and backing and evidence, or what's your sense about that?
Yeah, well, science has always been, at least for L'Oréal, has always been very important. L'Oréal was founded by a chemist. So science and R&D, R&I as we call it, research and innovation, are really at the core of our model. We spend like more 3% of our turnovers. It's 1.3 billion euros in research. And consumers don't always realize the amount of science there is in a beauty product, and it's our role to educate them.
How do you see technology playing in this field here?
Well, we know we've decided to and have become the number one in what we call beauty tech, which is a blend of several things. It's devices to use, to apply on your skin or on your face or on your hair. It's diagnosis tool that allow you to get the best prescription or the best recommendation in terms of products. And it's also advice or interaction with the consumers, where you can have AI-powered diagnosis or prescriptions on your phone or virtual try-ons. And that's really today part of these new routines or protocols that women and men are using to feel better and look better. And clearly, there's a lot happening in this field.
Yeah, I saw that. I think in 2015, you became the first beauty company to attend the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, which takes place in the beginning of January. I think 90,000 people come there. And even more impressive, in 24, you were a keynote speaker, which is normally either the NVIDIA CEO or the Apple CEO. Or, how did that come about? It's pretty impressive.
First of all, I must say that it was pretty exciting and impressive to do this keynote. Indeed, I was very surprised where we were invited, and I shared the stage with the deputy CEO of L'Oréal, whom you know, Barbara Lavernos. And we presented many of our devices, our tools, our AI. It was very exciting,
because normally that's where people go to see what's the next NVIDIA chip, what's the new TV.
It's true, but in the end, it's called the Consumer Electronics Show. So sometimes a brand and a company that speaks directly to consumers has its place on stage, and I think we earned it. And
clearly put
we did okay
on the map. So
we did okay.
So big congratulations. Your appetite for technologies is, of course, very significant. Another technology area you can say that you have taken an interest in, you even call it an adjacent area to beauty, is aesthetics. There's a lot of technology in aesthetics, from neuromodulators, biostimulatory products, hyaluronic acid, and the list goes on. How do you see that between those two areas of beauty, and then on the other end, injectable aesthetics as an example?
Well, injectables or aesthetic procedures are really part of these new, rejuvenation or beauty strategies that more and more people of all ages and genders are using, and they are very synergistic and complementary of our own, traditional beauty products. We know that women that do procedures spend actually 2 times more on creams and beauty products than the average. And of course, there are lots of synergies between the two. Both work with derms. We have brands like SkinCeuticals or Skin Better Science that learn a lot from derms. So I think there are, first of all, synergies between these two categories and between the two companies, which our partnership in research has started to demonstrate with a great way to use our imagery know-how to demonstrate the efficacy and a deep level of both your and our product. And I think clearly it's an area that, where you deliver results, and we like science-based, efficacious beauty solutions, and definitely injectables are part of this category. So it is indeed an adjacency, and I'm very happy to be part of your adventure with this integrated approach you have, and that's proven very successful.
It's clear that you have a lot of passions, and you, of course, are driving a lot of change in the company. But I would imagine that when you come home from work, it's been a busy day, one worry or one thing would be, how do I stay number one in beauty? Is that, how do you stay on top as L'Oréal, as the number one beauty company in the world?
Well, I think, first of all, it's a state of mind. We are very competitive, and I've been for 39 years in this company, and everybody, not just the CEO, wants to win, wants to be the best, but they know what it takes. And I think the keys I always focus on are, first of all, as I mentioned, is innovation. It's all about innovation. You have to spend, invest, and discover, more importantly, new molecules, new formulas that are going to make the consumers happy, and they're going to be better than what your competition can offer. So that's really the number one focus for me, and that's why scientific partnerships are also very important for L'Oréal. And that's probably the one thing that people don't see a lot is the company culture. I was talking about the competitiveness, but it's more than that. The L'Oréalians, as we call them, are very talented and very passionate people. You can feel my passion, but I'm not the only one. Anybody at L'Oréal loves the work they do, and they're on a mission. So that's the best way to stay on top, is that you're never complacent. You're always there to win the next game.
So, Nicolas, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you today. So thank you very much for taking time out of your very busy schedule to come here today.
Well, thank you, Flemming, for having me, and thank you to all your viewers for paying attention, and I'm sure we'll do lots of great things together.
Thank you for joining us. We're excited to continue bringing you more expert insights and leading voices from the world of dermatology. Be sure to follow Galderma on social media and on Spotify for the latest updates as we continue advancing dermatology for every skin story.